Hey, everybody. Hey, it's good to see you. Appreciate you stopping by on this. What is today? Oh, it's Cryptid Tuesday. It's Tuesday night. Appreciate you guys being here. If you guys can see me okay, hear me okay, throw me a 7x7 there in the chat, and I'll scroll back and say hi to a few folks. Let's see. Looks like Nate was first in the house tonight. Nate, it's good to see you. Harvest Mary Moon, how's it going? Miss Susie D, always good to see you. AJ, he says, good evening, Bigfoot Cryptid Tracker Extreme. That's right. And he also says, good evening, Lake Cryptid Tracker Extreme Support Staff. All right, we got Lewis. Good to see you, Lewis. We got Peanut. How's it going, brother? Good to see you. Jeannie Snyder, good to see you. That would be my wife, Miss Lake Fairy. She's back there somewhere.
Here.
She says here. Jeannie, if I missed you, good to see you. Got Miss TJ Squatchy. How's it going? TJ Squatchy says, good evening, Norman. Norman, if you're watching, good to see you. Or I should say Norm. AJ says, in best Elmer Fudd voice, be very, very quiet. We are hunting cryptids. Chris, good to see you. We got Shift Kicker in the house and Lisa Anderson. Ruben, good to see you. Appreciate that, Peanut. Lake Fairy made that. Very talented woman. He said he likes the intro. She's going to be working on a new intro. Okay, we got some 7x7s coming in. We got Miss Bluegrass Sweetheart. Good to see you. Don Light, good to see you. Haven't been here in a while. Love y'all. Good to see you, Dawn. Kicking it. Good to see you. Snark and Substance. Good to see you. Red Scout, how's it going? Good to see you. We got Life with Bobby. Shift Kicker says, hi, Norm. Feels like we're getting there. We got Bear Truth in the house. How's it going, brother? We got Tracy. Good to see you. And I think maybe we're caught up with that. My chat won't scroll anymore. My chat's broke. All right. My chat, I guess it's working. All right. So yeah, it's good to be back on this channel. We're back. YouTube had decided that me and my wife needed a week off. So YouTube graciously granted us a week to where we couldn't do anything on our channel.
My fault.
I blame that one back there. So yeah, we had a strike on the channel and we were down for a week. But I think yesterday we were officially back in business. So yeah, channel's back up. Appreciate you guys not bailing on us. Just apologize for the well, really don't apologize. It's hard to speak the truth nowadays, but you guys know how it is. So tonight, Cryptid night, and you know, one of the things that I love the most about cryptids and studying cryptids is getting to hear people's stories. You hear a personal story from someone, and they share their time with you. You get to just talk with people, and just, you get to meet them, hear their story. You see that look in their eye when they're telling you the story. Maybe we've talked to people about their experiences, and we've watched the hair stand up on their arms, and it's that's one of the best parts about these stories. It's amazing, and even if you don't wholeheartedly um, believe in cryptids to a certain extent, just meeting people and hearing their stories, because they're telling stories of what they saw. So it's it's just great. It's meeting people and talking to people, and that's what's really cool about it. And there's so many local legends when it comes to cryptids. Uh, I'm assuming we have basically the whole United States covered with our subscribers, and I think every state has its own cryptid legends. If you have a big lake in your area, it's probably got the legend of a creature associated with it. If you have a large forest, there's probably stories that you've heard from things that have been seen or heard in those forests, and those stories just make for some great conversations. And I'm originally from Ohio, so you have the I knew him as Bigfoot, but a lot of people refer to the Ohio Bigfoot as the Ohio Grassman. I always just knew it as Bigfoot, but you got the Ohio Grassman. Perhaps you're down in Florida, and in the swamps you have the skunk ape. Maybe some of you guys are from Florida. Arizona, you have the Magayan monster. So many different areas. Alaska has its own stories and cryptids. Let's see. Life with Bobby says Reamer, Minnesota is known for Bigfoot. Yeah, there's so many legends all over, and just talking to people about those stories. You think of Point Pleasant, West Virginia, and how the story of the Mothman took off, how that tiny little town became a media circus, and Point Pleasant became world famous. That's when the Silver Bridge collapsed, and we did a stream on that a few weeks ago. So many stories like that, and we've done a lot of Bigfoot streams. The area where we currently live here in upstate New York, it's a hot spot for Bigfoot sightings, and we know a lot of people up here that have had personal experiences, and just listening to those stories. I'll show you guys a book, and I show this quite often, but this book, A Bear Road: The True Story, by Brian Goslin and his wife Sue Goslin. We got to meet Brian, and he told us their story, and those stories, they just stick with you. It's just amazing, and that's hearing of all of these different legends from all over the country, even all over the world. So those are the things that I love most about studying cryptids and learning about new ones. It's just getting to talk with people and hear their stories. So the last time we were on and did a cryptid stream, we presented some pretty, at least for me, it was pretty incredible evidence. And what made it even more special for me was it came from my family back there in Ohio. Julie says, do you think there's more than one Bigfoot? Oh yeah, definitely. If you guys missed the evidence that we showed last week. I'm going to show it here in a few minutes because to me, it's just that spectacular. Gingerbug says West Virginia has legends. We have had Bigfoots here at the house. Yeah. West Virginia, hills and mountains and it's really thick forest. Yeah, it's prime territory right there. It was a couple weeks ago, I got a message from my sister back in Ohio, and I'm going to make this a real short summary of this. But my sister, my whole family, they know that I'm a Bigfoot enthusiast. Well, my sister, she messaged me and said that she had something to show me. My mom's neighbor thought that someone's dog was loose because her dogs were going ballistic. They would not stop and just barking and carrying on. So my mom's neighbor decides to go out. It's dark. She goes out into her yard to see what's causing this. What is in my yard that is driving these dogs nuts? So she goes out there and she sees something really big and dark and it's hairy. And her first instinct was that it was a bear. And that area there are occasional bear sightings, not many at all. But it was something that she hadn't seen before. So she went out the next morning and took some pictures of some of the tracks in her yard. And they were kind of just odd looking tracks. Definitely nothing I would consider a Bigfoot track or anything like that, but just weird looking tracks. I mean, legitimately weird. And my sister, she's like, because their yard is connected to my mom's yard. So my sister decides she's going to go out and check my mom's backyard to see if, there's tracks in the neighbor's yard. Maybe there's tracks in our yard too. So she goes out and she took a picture of something. And she sent it to me. Wanted to know what I thought. And that's what we presented a few weeks ago. And I'm going to put this up on the screen again. I know many of you have already seen this, but that's a track that she took a picture of in the backyard. This goes right with the story of the neighbor seeing this big thing in the yard, getting some weird tracks, and then she goes out, takes a picture of this. And I look at this and I'm thinking, well, yeah, it definitely looks like a Bigfoot, but how big is this thing? That was my next question until she sent me the next picture. Okay. That was the next picture. That's a size 9 woman's boot next to that track. We've done some size comparisons on that. That's 27, 28 inches. That's massive. And you're talking about 10 inches at least across. It's really big. It's really big. Like I told my sister, I wish I could have been there to try to cast this or take some measurements, but she did the best she could. And it's that whole story that goes along with this. Those stories are why I love researching cryptids. The whole story of the neighbor hearing something and going out and seeing something. And then my sister going out, finding this. That whole story, it's phenomenal. And these stories they're not uncommon. There's so many of these stories that people have and they share. And that's what I love about it. Julie says, Bigfoot, do you think that Bigfoot is part of the giants here on Earth from a long time ago? Well, that's part of the mystery, right? I definitely have a lot of personal beliefs on that. One of my favorite theories, and I don't even know that it's the one that I think is the most feasible, but I love the theory about being possibly Nephilim of origin. I don't know. There's so many, but I love studying giants and all of it. It all ties in together. But it's those stories, and it gets me fascinated. And you hear these stories from people, and you see the passion. I love it. It's just something that I personally love to do, is talk to people about this stuff and go out and research it. And it's just very fun. And tonight we have a story. Actually, we have two stories, and they're from a friend of ours. Many of you know this gal. She's in the chats a lot, comments a lot. She's been around quite a bit here on our channel, and many of you guys know her. It's Tina Mitchell. I'm sure you guys remember seeing Tina around. And this is what we're going to be sharing tonight. Let me pull that off the screen. What we're going to be sharing tonight is the story, actually two stories. One is a legend that she shared with us, and the second one is a personal experience that she shared. And she emailed them to us, and I have them printed out, and I want to read along and share what Tina had sent to us. Really, really cool stories. And if you guys have any stories like this that you would want to share, or something that we could read on the stream, feel free to email either myself, it's bigfootprepper@gmail.com, or my wife, Lake Fairy. So yeah, we can go through them and try to make them into a presentable discussion, and then we'll go through them. But yeah, the two that we're going to be looking at tonight, they're from Tina Mitchell. And we did ask her if it was okay that we read these on the streams, and she was okay with it. I'm hoping to see her pop in the chat, but I haven't seen Tina yet. So, okay, the first story that Tina shared is actually a legend. It's not something that she personally experienced. It's just a legend, and she calls it the legend in Kentucky. Maybe some of you guys are from Kentucky. I know one person definitely is from Kentucky. But I'm going to read through this and see what you guys think of this story. And if you guys have ever heard of this story, I would appreciate if you would throw it, comment in the chat there that you've either heard this story or something similar along those lines, because this is just really cool to hear this stuff. The legend in Kentucky. Tina says, I never saw it, but some people claimed to have seen it. The older people have told stories of something like the Jersey Devil. I remember a couple weeks ago we did a stream on the Jersey Devil and the origins of that, how the story begins in the Pine Barrens in the state of New Jersey. It's a huge forested area with swamps, and it was it the cursed 13th child of Mother Leeds. Great story. The history is amazing. It's amazing. But this is what Tina's kind of comparing this to. It says the older people had told stories of something like the Jersey Devil. It had wings and had supposedly flew off with pets, small livestock, and even an adult man once. Kind of sounds like the Jersey Devil, right? Okay, apparently he had been a drunk and was mean to his wife, and she kept telling him that whatever the thing was going to come and carry him off if he didn't quit drinking and get right with Jesus. He laughed it off and kept right on with his ways. I loved just first of all, I like how she started it with the older people had told stories, and that's where many of these stories come from through history. It's the older people, and you think about a lot of the stories of the cryptids, such as Sasquatch. So many of them. You think all the way back to the stories that have come from the Native Americans, even the creatures that are depicted on their totem pole, that many can be identified, but sometimes they can't. It's the older generations who bring down these stories and pass them along for us. So this wife was warning her husband, he better straighten up or this thing was going to come after him. He says, I guess one day after it had snowed about 4 or 5 inches, he was sitting on the porch, tying his boots, and his wife came out to make sure he was leaving his booze at home and to not drink while out hunting. She said all she saw was that thing flying up the side of the mountain with him, hollering and yelling. She told people what happened, but nobody believed her. They thought she was just embarrassed, that he was probably off drinking somewhere. So the legend states that she watched her husband being carried off by this thing up the mountain. I think about presenting that story to somebody, and I could probably expect that a lot of people wouldn't believe that. But after he didn't come home for a couple days and hadn't shown up for work, a bunch of men went out looking for him. They couldn't find any prints in the snow that he had made, but when they got to the top of one of the mountains, they found him. Clothing torn up and ripped, he was bloody with big slashes on his arms and back. He said that thing flew away with him, but he was too heavy for it to fly too far at one time. So it would drop him and then guard him until it was ready to try again. Apparently it had to save up its strength. He said the marks on his back and arms were from where it tried to carry, and also when it dropped him and he tried to run, it would slash him with its talons. He said it dropped him the last time near a little creek with a small cave close by, and he was able to get to it and wedge himself in where it couldn't reach him. He said the thing finally gave up the next morning and flew off, and he was able to start making his way back home. They got saved the next Sunday and became a regular churchgoer after that. What do you guys think of that legend in Kentucky? A lot of these stories, you have to stop and think. Whenever you're researching a cryptid or hearing stories about these odd creatures, so sometimes I think, well, was this creature created or invented to possibly keep children behaving, in this case, an abusive alcoholic husband behaving? I think many stories originated with that purpose. I think so. But I know some of you guys, at least one of you guys in the chat here, are from Kentucky. I wasn't sure if that's something that any of you guys had heard before. Harvest Mary Moon shared something. I was walking to my uncle's a couple years ago, and I got back about 50 feet away from the woods. I heard a loud grunt. It did not want me to come any closer. I backed up all the way home, slowly. It was an instant I knew what it was, no doubts at all. Those are the stories that we put together. And it's when you get to meet somebody telling their personal experience and how it's affected them, and you watch their reaction to it. Bluegrass says she's never heard it before. I knew you were, would that be a Kentuckian? Yeah. Let's see. Gingerbug could be true. With all we have seen, you never know. Keshu brings up a good point. To carry a man, there would have to be intense punctures, not just scratches. I would agree with that. Yep. All right. So now we're going to get to what Tina calls her personal experience. And these are the stories where usually you end up you learn something about their family. You learn personal details about them. And just from the amount of detail that she had shared with us, you can tell it's a very personal story. So we're going to read Tina's personal experience next. Okay, it says, now my personal experience. She says, my dad was a paraplegic and bedridden, and we had stayed up late watching a vampire movie. Sounds like a good start, right? Well, I was startled awake not too long after we had gone to bed because I was dreaming I was being bitten on the neck by a vampire. It's usually what those vampire movies will do. When I woke up, I heard the most god-awful screeching. I got my mom awake, and she grabbed her .357 revolver and handed me the shotgun, and we rushed outside. Of course, my dad tried to keep us from going out, but my mom was fearless. But I was not, but I couldn't let her go out alone. It was raining, but we couldn't see anything. We had 3 pigs that we were raising, and they were all squealing, and it sounded like the barn was being ripped apart. So my mom shot into the air a couple of times, and the screeching stopped, and the pigs got quiet. And I talked my mom out of going out there to check, because whatever had happened was over there. Whatever happened was over, and it would be better to wait until daylight. When I went out the next morning, I found the strangest footprint in the mud, nothing like I have ever seen before. And my dad had shown me how to track, and I had seen bear, deer, bobcat, rabbit, etc. tracks. We could not get our pigs out of the barn for days. So these pigs were practically traumatized by this experience of this creature out there. And what did she say? It sounded like the barn was being ripped apart. So something was out there trying to get to these, sounds like it was trying to get to these pigs for dinner, I would guess. And you picture, now this is where you get into the personal part of these stories. You picture Tina, I don't know exactly how old she was at this point in time, but a child. She's home with her parents. Her dad, who she described as a paraplegic, he was bedridden, so her dad couldn't get up to go check things out. But her mom, she described her mom as fearless. So her mom's going out. Her mom's got her .357. She hands the shotgun to Tina, and Mom and Tina, they're going out there, going to figure out what's going on. So just picture that scene, and in the pouring rain, I can picture Tina kind of ducking over behind her mom. Those are the kind of details that make these stories so incredible. And it sounds like Tina's dad had spent a lot of time with Tina teaching her outdoor stuff. He says he's shown me how to track. She had seen bear, deer, bobcat, rabbit, etc. tracks. So she was familiar with things that were around the area and things that didn't quite fit in. And those are the things that you look for, things that just don't fit in, something different. Just like when my sister messaged me about those tracks back in Ohio. Something just didn't fit in with the normal, something different. Okay, so it says we could not get our pigs out of the barn for days. Their pigs are traumatized. They're back in the barn. They're not coming out. She says one of them had 3 long scratches down its hip that the vet had to come out and clean and stitch. So one of the pigs had gotten attacked and had 3 long scratches down it. He estimated that whatever had done it had claws about 3 inches long. What, 3 inches? 3 inches long? Other than, I don't know, was it bear's claws even 3 inches? I don't know. But this was the vet, should know pretty much the animals that are around the area. Estimated that whatever had done it had claws about 3 inches long. That was the scope of what the scratches on that pig revealed to that vet. Tina goes on to say that we had the game warden for our region come out, and he said it wasn't a print he had ever seen before either. Game warden, pretty familiar with the area. They would know what wildlife is common in that region. It says, I dug the print out of the mud and put it into a wash basin after the warden had done a cast of it. So they did cast the print. So Tina dug up this print, put it in a wash basin. She said so that my dad could see it, because remember, he couldn't get out of the bed to go out and look. Tina says, and he had never seen anything like it either. The game warden later called us, and apparently they had a number of others look at it. So not only did the game warden look at this weird track, he had other specialists look at this track to see if they could figure it out. Biologists and animal experts from different universities looked at it, and they were baffled as well. Something out of the ordinary, something not normal. Quite a few others in our area had the same issues too, so it's starting to affect other households. It tried to get at one of my mom's cousins who had 2 ponies that he kept for his grandkids to ride, but they too were in the barn. My dad's uncle had a small horse that was attacked, and his dog fought off whatever it was, and both of them needed vet care as well. So a small horse got attacked, and a dog got attacked. The dog defended the horse and was also attacked. So the horse and the dog both needed vet care. Some people that lived up the holler from us had their chicken coops literally ripped apart and a lot of chickens killed. One of them said it looked like someone just ripped some of them in half and threw them down, the chickens. And a couple that looked like the meat had been stripped from the bones, but the chicken was still whole and no bones broken. And she gives you a very detailed illustration of what she means by that. Like how some people eat the chicken wing drumstick, put the whole thing in their mouth and just pull out the bone. That's what the chicken looked like. So what creature attacks ponies, attacks dogs, attacks pigs, shreds chickens, tears apart barns to get into these things, chicken coops torn apart? Something weird, right? Something unexplained. Tina goes on to say, whatever did this stayed around for about a week, and then it disappeared. The game wardens tried finding tracks, but the only thing they found was the footprint at our house and a couple around the chicken coops and the marks made on the roofs of the animal barns. The game warden measured the footprint, And if I remember right, it was around 24 inches long, but narrow. So you have this 24-inch long print, 2 feet long, but it's Tina said it was a narrow print, not like the print that we showed earlier, the Bigfoot track. That thing was approaching 30 inches long, but it was 10 inches wide. The footprint that Tina is describing here is saying it was 24 inches long, but narrow. She goes on to say that the game warden said it was probably really about 18 inches long because as deep and loose as the mud was, it spread out under its weight. That makes sense. So the game warden says actually it was close to an 18-inch track, but narrow. And the print was 4 to 5 inches deep. So he said whatever made the print was pretty heavy. 4 to 5 inches deep. That's some weight pushing down. That's some weight. Tina says our small barn had been built pretty sturdy with 4x4 posts and 2x4 wall beams with plank siding and a metal roof. It was all put in with screws, not nails. So it didn't do a lot of damage, but it did pull a couple pieces of the metal roof up, but not off, and the siding had some damage, but only one plank was busted, so it had to be replaced. When I think of that kind of damage, all of the damage that she's describing makes me think of a bear, but a lot of the other stories are talking about something that was up on the rooftop. And the track definitely doesn't match. Definitely doesn't match a bear. She says it was really creepy, and people were scared to go out at night. All of the incidents happened from midnight to around 3 a.m. Kids weren't allowed outside without an adult with a gun around. People kept their pets inside. Our chickens were free range and had nest boxes, but flew up into the trees to sleep. Thank God, or we had probably lost them if they had been in a coop. She says those poor pigs and ponies were so traumatized, they would jump and holler at sudden, loud noises. So you can see the impact that it had on those animals. So, and then you think of, yeah, you guys are cluing in on that, the hours. Those are definitely midnight to 3 a.m. That's pretty creepy. Yeah, creepy hours. Let's see. Harvest Mary Moon says that takes force to bust wood. Indeed it does. There's some weight there. Let's see. Lake Fairy says 18 inches. Yeah, that's a big track. AJ says maybe it was a female Bigfoot. The females usually have thinner feet. Would have loved to have seen the track, you know? Yeah, it's an incredible story. Possibly a juvenile, yeah.
An 18-inch. That's a juvenile. I'd be scared to see an adult.
Yeah, like Faye said, 18-inch juvenile track. We would hate to see the adult, right? So creepy and unsettling. It is like out there somewhere feeling, and you are always on alert for it to come back. That's right. Ark Wildman shapeshifter. Well, that opens up a whole nother spectrum of possibilities right there, doesn't it? Yeah, that's you. We talked briefly about Native Americans and some of their stories, and you get into the shapeshifters that even tends to lead you towards like skinwalkers, wendigos. That there's some dark stuff there. Life with Bobby, things that go bumping at night. Yep. Kicking it says coyote. Now, coyotes for certain would go after the chickens. I assume coyotes would go after pigs. Yeah.
Deer and coyotes.
Oh yeah,
get on roofs, so-
because coyotes go after full-grown deer. Yeah, and they hunt in the packs, right?
Yeah.
So they could get on roofs.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see.
But they don't have thick talons, 3 inches.
Right. I don't know how long are coyotes' claws. I
Just
assume
like a dog.
like kind of like a dog.
Yeah, except for they don't get theirs clipped.
Gingerbug says a bear would only rip open a big enough hole to get into.
Right.
Life with Bobby. 3 a.m. is commonly known as the witching hour, I think. Yeah. 3 a.m.'s pretty creepy. Cashew. You're right. I saw a silver disc flying in the sky in 2019. I told my parents they were polite. Yeah. A lot of people have stories of things that are unexplained. Crazy Irish, I've got chills to the bone. Crazy Irish, you actually shared some pretty amazing stuff a few months ago when we were talking about the oh shoot, I lost it. The triangle in Massachusetts, the Bridgewater Triangle. Those were more personal experiences that make these stories just come to life. It's just great stories. Gingerbug, if it wasn't a Bigfoot, would not have went through the roof. Peanut says coyotes get aggro. They do, yeah. Monster Fish Cow, good to see you. And here we go. This is why the stream, and actually, the name of the stream is the Jersey Devil or something else. And the reason why I named it that is because Tina's email that she sent was the title of the email said Jersey Devil ? Or something similar. And now picture this. Tina has this story from her childhood in her mind, this experience. And then we do this stream talking about the Jersey Devil and describe it with the wings. And you think about the claws and you think about carrying things off. We talked stories about when we did the Jersey Devil stream, it carried off dogs and things like that. There's similarities.
And it brought her right back to this.
Yeah,
She experienced.
it just that brought her back to her childhood memory. Hey, Bushcraft, good to see you. Harvest Fairy Moon, we don't know what is in this world. Just because someone hasn't seen it, don't mean it ain't real.
Right.
I've never seen a giraffe in real life. Yeah.
Actually, our daughter has a funny story about giraffe.
Yeah, we were.
Oh, she's hilarious.
We were walking through a store the other day, and they had some stickers on the counter and on the shelf, and one of them was a unicorn. And
she was serious.
Yeah. Oh, she got kind of angry for just a second. She's like, "How is it that a unicorn, which is a horse with a horn on its head, can't be real, but a giraffe can be real?" And we thought about it. She's like, "It's like a cheetah with a giant neck."
She called it a fat-bottomed leopard cheetah with a long neck that has like the horn things with the ears and shit.
Yeah. So if the giraffe can be real, why can't a unicorn be real?
She wasn't laughing at all.
Oh no, she was dead serious. Yeah.
And I'm over there, I'm in hysterics.
Oh yeah, it was awesome. The Bridgewater Triangle. the home of the pukwudgie, right? My mother's spark. I wake up almost every night between 2:30 and 3. I pray to fall back asleep. Done that for years. I don't like waking up around that time. Let's see. Crazy Iris says, yes, I have tons of stories about the Bridgewater Triangle. Oh, my friend Sheena has tons of stories about that area. She lives right in the middle of it. That's the Hockomock Swamp and I forget the name of the forest, that big forest there. Let's see. Gingerbug says, my mom's seen things when she was growing up. She passed away at 93 a month ago. Sorry for your loss. She only told us certain things. Always told us it's getting dark. Boogeyman gonna get you. We grew up down in a holler. Yep. TJ Squatchy. So easy to forget something. So easy to forget something, only to remember it years later when someone mentions a similar situation. That kind of triggers that memory, right? Yep.
AJ thinks that the pukwudgies live here and that they're making messes at night. That's not doing
ER. I saw some things up on the, is that Watchung reservation? Don't know what they all were, but you never know. Love the story. Yeah, it was a good story, definitely. Good to see you, ER. Gingerbug, we had something huge smack the side of our house one time and shook it. We were all in bed. I thought pukwudgies lived in Bigfoot's house and Lake has to keep cleaning its midnight messes up. Yeah, it's not me. Giggles says, I always wake up between 2 and 4. I don't like doing that. I don't know why that's doing that. Yeah, Freetown Forest. Freetown State Forest, yeah. Yep. Freetown Forest is the home of the pukwudgie. Let's see, Life with Bobby. I was thinking about starting a podcast on cryptids and UFOs. You know what I say to that? If you have fun with that and it's a joy to you, go for it. You know, don't. It's sometimes we get trapped into doing things that we just kind of do out of routine, and it becomes like a second job. Have fun with it. Have fun with it. Soggy's Adventures. I've seen a lot of UFO type stuff. My wife sees a lot of weird stuff in the sky. She gets pictures of things, and
yeah, and then I hear stuff on the ground.
We live within. I mean, we can look right off our front porch, and we can see the mountain. And the Adirondacks, 6 million acres of forest, lakes, rivers, mountains. Some weird stuff. Weird things. Chicken Noodle Girl, good to see you.
Maybe some of us are just sensitive to different, like I don't know.
No. Bigfoot, did you ever do a thing on the Thunderbirds? They seem to run the middle of the country and up to the East Coast. I have not. Be happy. Good to see you.
I encourage anyone to go, to make a channel to talk about what they're interested in and know about. YOLO.
Yep, that's it. That's it. If you guys just like, and by the way, Tina's not here. I don't see her. I haven't seen her in the chat, but I'm going to send her out a. It's a decal. It's a sticker, And I'm going to be mailing that out to her as a thank you for sending in the story. And if you guys have any stories like this that you would like me to discuss on the channel, bigfootprepper@gmail.com. Just email me. And if you don't want to take the time to type it all out, it was nice that she did this because I could just read it and I had her words and didn't have to ad-lib anything. But if that doesn't work for you, maybe we could do a backstage and we could just talk about it. But yeah, we could anybody. There's so many people with stories like this to share. That perhaps it's not something that you personally experienced, but maybe your grandma experienced or your a friend experienced. I would love to hear them. It's that the stories of the personal touches. That's what makes, to me, the study of cryptids so enjoyable. Meeting people, hearing stories, and seeing that passion in them. And I'm going to ask my wife if she has anything she would like to add.
2 + 2 is 4.
Because I'm going to be closing the stream here in a second.
6 + 6 is 12. Oh, we're not really adding? No, is there something I was supposed to add that I forgot?
No, I'm giving you the chance to talk.
Hi.
I tried.
I meant to put out a video earlier before Bigfoot went live, and then I forgot to publicize it. That's it.
So I got a message from my sister, the same sister who sent me the pictures of the Bigfoot track, and she told me that August 5th and 6th, coming up this year, they're going to be having the Hocking Hills Bigfoot Festival in Logan, Ohio. And that's about half hour from where I grew up. So I just told my wife earlier, August 5th and 6th, we're going to be in Ohio. We're going to the Bigfoot Festival down there.
Did you show them the pictures?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay. Oh, they did that earlier.
Yeah, I showed them the footprints. Yeah.
Yeah, that was from before.
So yeah, we have a few more of those stickers that we could send out. We have some different things that we could send just as a thank you for sharing the stories. Yeah, so reach out.
Maybe some special send outs for people who have really, really extreme wow stories.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, TH2.
Hey, TH2. The Nut House, can you stream from that in Ohio? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's kind of in the sticks, so I'm not sure you'll.
We could do a video.
We could, yeah, do videos and stuff like that. Yeah, for certain.
It depends on if we had Wi-Fi cell service up there.
Yeah. Just FYI, if you guys are interested at all in following any of my Bible studies and topical studies for the Bible, I made a new channel for that.
I'll drop the link.
Lake Freya will drop the link in the chat there. The link that she's going to drop is strictly Bible study stuff. I do that on Thursday nights and Sunday nights. So if you guys are interested in that all of my Bible study stuff is going to be on there. I'm probably going to keep the cryptid stuff right here on this channel, and we're going to do those together. Cashew just dropped the link for the Hocking Hills Bigfoot Conference. Thank you very much. If you want a chance at meeting us, we're probably going to be there at Hocking Hills, Logan, Ohio, on August 5th and 6th. Yeah, and Lake Ferry just dropped the link to my new channel. It's called Dig Deeper Ministry. And that's, like I said, that's where I'm doing all of my Bible study stuff now. So,
yep.
And
we also have a secondary channel of Adirondack life.
Yeah, just things we do in the Adirondacks.
Post that one as well.
Yeah. Pinball preparedness goes live at 8. Not that you guys wouldn't have known that, but
some people don't.
okay. So, you want to drop? Leaf Ray's going to drop Pinball's link.
I'm going to drop Pinball's link, and then yeah, I'm trying.
Okay. And Tina Mitchell, thank you for your story. I wish I really makes me sad you couldn't be here tonight, but hopefully I did your stories justice and told them okay. Thank you so much. And again, I'll reach out to you and I'll get you one of the Bigfoot stickers mailed out. So, all right, that's it for tonight. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and we'll probably see you over there on Pinball Preparedness' channel here in a few minutes. So,
boom. He doesn't even flinch.
Have a great night.